At the beginning of this training module, we introduced the concept of assessment by asking and answering some questions, including what is assessment, why we assess, and when do we assess. But we also asked who can assess. When we try to answer this question, we're asking who the assessment agents can be. But first things first, what is an assessment agent? An assessment agent is a subject who makes a judgment and makes a decision according to the information they have in a specific situation. In the new assessment for learning paradigm, an assessment agent is a person who is involved in the process of feedback delivery, that is, giving feedback, and in the process of feedback uptake, that is, receiving feedback. In this part of the training module, we will focus on those agents who give the feedback. But let's do a short recap. What exactly do these agents do when they give feedback? Well, first, they understand assessment criteria profoundly. Then they analyze performance, which could be either a result, like an essay, an oral presentation, and a report, or even the process that leads to that result. And finally, they provide effective feedback, which is oriented to learning and improvement. In traditional assessment, the assessment agent was always the teacher. It was always the teacher grading the students' work. Why? Well, before it was believed that the teacher possessed all the knowledge, which was unidirectionally transmitted to the students who were the passive receivers. As discussed throughout this module, these roles are completely changed in the new assessment for learning paradigm. Now, we believe that every educational agent has meaningful information and, therefore, should actively contribute to the assessment process, both as the assessor, that is, the person who gives the feedback, and as the assessed, that is, the person who receives the feedback. Now, teachers and students can have both roles. This gives place to different types of assessment other than the traditional teacher assessment, depending on which assessment agent takes the role of assessor and assessed. Let's take a look at them. First of all, there is the most extended assessment type, teacher assessment, where the teacher is the assessor and the students are assessed. But it could also be that students are the assessors. For instance, if a student assesses other students, we call that peer assessment. However, if a student assesses the student himself or herself, that would be self-assessment. In this case, the student gives feedback on their own work. And last but not least, it could also be that the student gives feedback to the teacher. In this case, the student is the assessor and the teacher is the assessed. This is also known as student feedback for teachers. As you can see, there are several types of assessment in the new assessment for learning paradigm. In this section of the training, we will focus on explaining each type of assessment, identifying how each type of assessment can contribute to learning, and giving tips as for how to do each type of assessment online. Are you ready? Let's do this!